Hi, welcome back to my channel. I have some more Dollar Tree DIYs today. And for this first DIY, I have this little window frame. I'm just taking off the little "Our Family Gather Here" sign. And then I'm using an X-Acto knife just to trim off the little extra plastic in between the window parts, the frame. And then I took the extra hot glue off the front as well. And I know these signs are old, but I've looked for them for so long and I finally found them the other day, so I got quite a few of them. Next, I take some Dollar Tree wallpaper and I just line up the frame with the pattern on the wallpaper of how I want it to show through. And then I just mark it off with a pencil and then I cut it out with some scissors. But I cut it out a wee bit smaller than what I marked it with the pencil. This was me deciding if I was going to put it inside the frame or not. So I decided to take the back off and I just unscrewed it with some wee screwdrivers that I got from Dollar Tree. And then I placed the wallpaper inside, and then I used a little Cricut tool just to poke holes through the wallpaper for the screws, and then I just screwed the screws back in, and it was much easier than gluing it. And then I have a flower from Dollar Tree, and I decided to take the biggest piece at the back off because it was going to be too much for the frame. And then I hot glued it, and then it wasn't going to sit right, so I took the green part back off again, and then I just hot glued each layer to make them stick down how they were before. And then that was it. And I think it turned out so pretty. I just love the blue colours. I have a little crate and some half beads. I think I had 24. And then I stained them with this Beaded golden oak gel stain because it matched the colour of this frame. And I'm just taking off the sign off the front like I did before. But this one didn't have all the extra pieces of plastic on it. And I have this scrap piece of the wallpaper from Dollar Tree. Couldn't remember what it's called there. So I'm just doing the same thing. And you can just glue it on the back if you want to. You don't have to unscrew it. And this one actually fit in between the screws. So I just trimmed a wee bit extra off the bottom so that it would be clear of the screws. And then I just screwed them back in. And then I just start hot gluing the half beads on. I put one in the middle here to cover up the little, what was left after I pulled the glue off. And then I just spaced them out going down each side. And I think that the golden oak was a good match for this frame. Of course, you can always paint them your favourite colour. You don't have to keep them like this. And then I just finish off this side on camera, and then I'll do the other side off camera. And I'm just going to hot glue the little crate on, but you should definitely use some stronger glue because mine fell off and I had to glue it again. But just use hot glue because it's quicker for on camera. But I think it turned out really cute. You can always put home or something with your Cricut or the Dollar Tree stickers or something on the front of the crate if you wanted to, but I just wanted to leave mine clean. And then I'm taking some of the super glue wood glue from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to glue these in the corner and using 4 of the bigger wooden beads that I have, and then I'm using well, I used 4 of the smaller beads in each corner. I just can't stop using the beads in my DIYs now. I should have bought them a long time ago. I kept looking for the ones in Dollar Tree, but I could never find them, so I got these ones on Amazon, and the links will be down below if you are interested in them. But I just ordered some more because I've thought of some more DIYs that I can do with them. And then I paint it with the Waverly Plaster Chalk paint. And then I dry brush some of the Folk Art Gold paint over the beads. I was going to leave them plain, but then I decided to put some gold on it. I'll just show you one, then I'll do the rest off camera. And then I also brushed some gold along the edges, and you could always use the frame, the canvases with the wooden frame inside of it, and then brushing the gold on the side would make more of an impact. Next, I painted 14 beads with the Waverly Ballet Slipper Chalk paint, and then I dry brushed the Folk Art Gold paint over the top. And then I'm just going to struggle to cut a popsicle stick in half to make a frame. And then I took some twine and I just tied a knot on one end, and then I hot glued the other end to make it easier to thread the beads on. And I just used a skewer to paint the beads, and I just put some painter's tape at one end. And this works when you have a small batch of beads. But if you wanted to stain or paint a lot of them, then just put the paint in some Tupperware or the stain, and then you can shake them around, and then you can just wipe off. Take the beads out and then wipe off the excess paint or stain, and then leave them to dry. So I just hot glued the hanger on, and then I have some wall stickers from Dollar Tree, and I picked this rainbow one, and it has gold in it and obviously pink. That's why I chose gold and pink for the beads, and I think it turned out really nice. But you can let me know what you think in the comments down below. And for this last DIY, I had this scrap piece of wood. It's not the best wood, but it was of the right size. It was a bit rough. I don't have the tools to sand it and make it smooth. But I have 4 of these Dollar Tree snakes, and I just cut the heads off them. And I'll link the saw down below if you're interested in that too. It's really handy. So I'm trying to make sure I cut them straight, and then I just sand them off if I need to. And I did use the tails for these snakes. In a previous video, I made a little plant stand. So if you cut them up, don't throw those parts away because you can use them. And then I will saw the rest of them off camera. I'm using the super glue wood glue, and I'm just going to apply it to the sides and then attach the snakes. And just wipe off any excess glue because I'm going to stain it, and the stain doesn't cover the glue. So I made the 2 longer sides go right to the edge, and then the edges I made a little bit longer so that it would all fit together. Yeah, I probably should have just glued all the sides and then laid it down and then stuck the snakes on. I just glued the ends of the snakes as well. And I'd made that bit too long, so I just cut it down. And once the glue had set enough, I turned it over and I'm just going to use the wee snake heads as legs. And I tried to get the little eyes to come out, and yeah, it wouldn't work. So I just sanded down the ends, and then I'm just gluing them in the corners with the eyes facing in the way, because I'm going to put dark stain on it anyway, so you're not even going to notice them. But you could always wrap some twine around it or something. There's like ways you could cover them up. And then I stain it with the Jacobean wood stain by Minwax. And I printed off this fleur de lis. And I printed 2 off of the same one, and I weeded one, and then I weeded the other one the opposite way. And I just found it on Cricut Design Space. So I'm just going to use the transfer tape to transfer it to my tray. And it didn't want to stick to the transfer tape at all. And I'm just going to stick it in the middle. And I don't know, I was going to make it bigger than this, and then I decided not to. You can always use a different picture, or you could put some nice words or something on this. But I just wanted to use the snakes in a different way, because I see everybody just making them into the tray handles or putting them around the hurricane glass. So I used this ocean paint and some folk art gold metallic paint, and just using a makeup sponge to apply the paint. And I love this color of blue, but after I made this, I really didn't like it on this project. And I made this a while ago, and I just didn't like the blue on it. So I found another blue, and I will show you that in a wee bit. So I just removed the vinyl, and then I gave it blast the hairdryer. But this wood wasn't smooth. It was not the best piece of wood, but I had it lying around, so I thought I would use it. So it did bleed a little bit, but obviously you could use nicer wood and make it nice and smooth, and it won't bleed. But I do fix that. And then the next piece, I just line it up over the blue, because I want to paint inside it with the gold paint. Oh, and I also printed off these smaller ones to put in the corners, and I also going to paint them with the gold paint. I'll just show you one, and then I'll move on to the gold paint. So I'm just doing the same technique, just using the sponge to paint it on. Now, what colours would you pick? I picked blue because it's my boyfriend's favourite colour, and he is a St. Louis. And this is the Saint symbol, so that's why I picked it and picked these colours. But now I'm looking at, maybe I should have done white and gold. No, because his favourite colour is blue. But it looks nice with the white and gold. But anyway, what colours would you pick? So after I had sponged on the inside, I went over the outside with a little thin brush, and this was just to cover up the parts that were bleeding. And then once this was finished, I did go over it all again with a paintbrush, and then I went over the blue again with the other blue paint. Yeah, looking at this now, I definitely prefer the white and the gold. Maybe I'll change it. I've obviously speeded up the video, but if you just take your time and try and make the line all around the outside the same size. And then once I was finished that, I just took off the vinyl, and then, yeah, that was after I'd painted it again. And then I took these little half beads and I glued them on with wood glue on each of the end of the snakes. And then I stained them with the Jacobean wood stain. And then this is the Mountain Blue apple barrel paint. I decided to paint over it with this paint, and I think it looks much better. I definitely think I prefer it with the white. So yeah, just to make sure you're being careful when you're painting in between the lines. And I paint the rest of this off camera. And then I gave it 3 coats of this Minwax polyacrylic. And this is how it turned out. And see, only because you're up close so you can see the snake eyes. But nobody would notice if you just had it sitting out. But anyway, I think I definitely would prefer it with the white, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.